Hello and welcome to this installment of Valentine's Culinary School. Today I want to talk about mixing bowls, and you can do whatever kind of fancy serving bowl you want to. We talked separately in another video about wooden bowls, which are very useful but only for specific things, and oftentimes for display purposes because they can't take long periods of being wet in use. So, and they tend to, have it's an advantage to have them be able to wick out the moisture. Most of the times you don't want that. So what I have here are your standard stainless steel and ceramic type bowls. These are really the backbone of the kitchen. You can also use Pyrex, borosilicate glass, and those work really well as indeed. To me, I always go with the classics, ceramic. You will see that I don't have any plastic out here because you don't want to use those. You should banish plastic from your kitchen forever. No plastic should touch your food. That's just a huge mistake that the plastic industry, or I should say the petrochemical industry, has pushed on us. And too often we've put up with it because we're consumers. We just want to consume. We don't want to take the hard route. People love to be lazy. So the main point of using something like this is, in the case of ceramic, it has a fair amount of insulation property to it. It won't get too hot or too cold quickly depending on what you're doing. That can be an advantage sometimes. Sometimes you want it to change temperature rapidly, and that's when you want to use the stainless steel. If you are going to use any metals, make sure it is stainless steel, preferably 316 or 316L stainless that is truly stainless, as opposed to stainless grade that won't really, because there are lower grades of stainless like 304, which are actually going to rust given the opportunity. And you really don't want anything reactive in your food, which is why I would tend to say avoid any metal bowls as much as possible and just go with the ceramic or glass. Those are going to be your best bet in most cases, and they'll last you a long time too. If you want to have some kind of case where you need to, say, whip something over and keep it cold, then you can actually nest these with a layer of ice beneath them, and that can be very useful, but that's a very specialized usage. So have it around for those kind of usage, or have it around for your picnics where you don't want to worry about something getting broken, because these are, it's really hard to break a stainless steel bowl. It's much easier to crack something ceramic or glass. And, try and use your best judgment on that. If you're using a handheld mixer, always be careful not to try and get it too close to the edge. It usually won't chip, but it's, never a good idea to tempt fate. If you can take precautions, do. It's just a good way to live. If you do want to do some dough mixing, I would say either use the ceramic or use the wood. Wood is especially good for if you're doing, say, a sourdough. That's why I got it originally. And it's also good if you want to use it for a fruit bowl, because it's going to absorb some of the moisture. The problem with having a fruit bowl is you create a confined space where there's not enough actual air currents flowing around, and it makes everything go bad much faster. It rots much more quickly. So in that kind of case, I would actually recommend going with a wicker basket, which could be much more kind to your fruit. Because of course you want to be eating living vegetables and fruits at all times. That's really the best foods for you. They're the most life-sustaining, as opposed to, grains are great in those sorts of conditions, but when you don't have fresh fruits and vegetables available, but that's just how it goes. if you don't have to go with long shelf stable stuff foods, then it's great if you can go with something that is much more vital and still has a lot of life force energy in it that it can transfer to you. Because we are all organisms and we must eat other organisms to survive. So why would you want to eat something that's extra dead? At least with vegetables and fruits, they are actually often still living when you're eating them. You can make them even more living with, say, root vegetables like beets and potatoes, turnips, carrots, by soaking them in water first. Especially if they've been in your fridge, they kind of go into hibernation and can dry out a little bit. Put them in lukewarm water in your sink or a bowl for half an hour to an hour before you use them, and you will have revitalized the vegetables quite a bit, and it will be better for you, and they will taste better. Worth doing. So that's about it for this little snippet of Valentine's Culinary School. May you be well and eat well. May you be blessed. May all beings have unconditional love for all beings. I'll see you in another video. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up. And if you really like my show, hit the subscribe button and select notifications to be all. Thank you. Bye bye.